Let us try to understand the inner meaning of the form of Lord Ganesa. Lord Ganesa or Ganapati represents the wisdom or Jnanam which erases an individual's misunderstanding that he is the body composed of 5 basic elements of nature. This misunderstanding arises from an individual's ignorance since in reality he is the Jivatma. The form of Ganapati is distinctive due to possessing an elephant's head and 2 tusks, of which one is broken. The broken tusk signifies the removal of misunderstanding, and the flawless complete tusk represents Jnanam. In this context, Jnanam refers to the correct knowledge that I am not the body but I am the Jivatma. Whenever a devotee sees the broken tusk, he must remember that this ignorance needs to be removed and the correct knowledge needs to be cultivated systematically. The elephant head of Ganapati symbolizes the 5 basic elements from which the body is composed. Prithvi, Jalam, Agni, Vayu and Akasham are the 5 basic elements. Anything which has an aroma is termed as Prithvi. Anything which has an aroma is termed as Prithvi. Therefore, the long nose or trunk of Ganapati reminds us of this gross element Prithvi. Sound waves are created and existent in Akasham. So the large ears of Ganapati represent this most subtle element Akasham. The large ears of Ganapati represent this most subtle element Akasham. Thus, on sight of this unique form comprising of the elephant head, trunk and 2 large ears, a devotee remembers the 5 elements from Prithvi to Akasham. Trunk represents Prithvi and ears represent Akasham. From trunk to ears means from Prithvi to Akasham. The first one in the set of elements Prithvi and the last one in the set of elements Akasham both indirectly imply the other 3 elements Jalam, Agni and Vayu. This vision of Ganapati reminds a trained devotee that he is not these 5 elements or the body made of these elements, but is in fact the Jivatma. This is called Bhuta Shuddhi or purification of the 5 elements. Purification in this context stands for the realization or the correct knowledge. A little bit of conscious training of the process through learning and correcting the misunderstanding is necessary for appearing this concept spontaneously in mind at the very moment of witnessing the form of Ganapati. The huge belly of Ganapati, swollen with laddus inside, represents the visual universe consisting of innumerable planets. This also serves to remind us that the visual universe is the reason for all our ignorance, since the body and mind are parts of this visual universe. An individual is reminded of his misunderstanding about the body and mind when he sets sight on the image of Ganapati and of the correct knowledge that he is the Jivatma. It is the misunderstanding mentioned here which is the reason for all failures in life. When you think that you are the body, all feelings related to your body become very important. The desires, hatred, comparison, competition, jealousy, etc. are the after effect of identifying with the body. When you realize the fact that you are the Jivatma who is beyond all needs and desires, you will become strong enough to fight against your desires and unwanted influences. That internal realization makes you strong enough to function well in day-to-day affairs. Therefore, removal of this ignorance and the realization that an individual is the Jivatma has a lot of importance in daily life. This is the resultant effect of devotion to Ganapati. The custom of breaking coconuts in front of Ganapati temples is symbolic to remind one to break free from ignorance. It is the gross body which blocks the individual from realizing the truth that he is Jivatma. This restrictive nature of the gross body is remembered through the breaking of a coconut in front of Ganapati. Even though breaking the coconut reminds the devotee about the need to eradicate his ignorance, he cannot remove them by his own efforts. An individual's misunderstanding needs to be removed by the divine power itself and is beautifully represented by the broken tusk held in the hand of Ganapati. He is always holding his own broken tusk in his hand, and it is said that Ganapati would never place it down anywhere because it is to remind the devotee that the Lord Ganesa is always eager to eradicate a devotee's ignorance through his divine grace. By praying to Ganapati, meditating upon his unusual but interesting form, let us overcome our misunderstanding that an individual is the body and instead develop the Jnanam to embrace the reality that an individual is actually the Jivatma.